So today is going to be kind of a fun day for a number of reasons. One is we're making bath bombs, and that's always fun. Two, I don't know what kind of bath bombs I'm going to be making, except for I know that they're all lavender scented. But you know, the design and what I end up doing with them, it's crapshoot because I haven't made them yet. And C, we're going to, I think, talk about some really fun things that can be included in bath bombs because I get a lot of questions. So I will tell you more about what it is that we're doing and why in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 286 of 365 days of soap, and today, as I said, we're making bath bombs. And I think what we're ultimately going to do is do an FAQ about bath bombs, because I get a lot of questions. What is poly? Is there a difference between poly 20 and poly 80? Can I put artificial bubblers into my bath bombs? If so, which ones? How much? All the things. So while I am making these bath bombs that have yet to be kind of figured out in my mind, so you're going to be around for that ride too, we will talk all things, bubblers and extra fun bits that you can put in bath bombs, which means it might be a long video. So let's go to the video and we can do all those things. Okay, so today we are testing 4 different types of bath bombs. Now the standard batch is going to be the same, but for each of them we're going to put a little something special or nothing at all in. So this is the first of the tests. It will be the bath bomb to go with the black, amber, and lavender, and also notice how much that discolored. 0.5% vanillin, discolored like a mother. Yeah, so we are essentially just going to do a swirly swirl with the blues and the pinks for this. For the red, I am actually using the one that is called Red from Midwest Soapery, the mica. And I do have a video coming out in the next week or so. I've been getting a lot of questions about, micas and lakes and dyes and what they all are, what it all is, all of that jazz. So we're going to do an FAQ on that very, very soon. Now, standard recipe for these bath bombs for all 4 batches is as follows. 2 cups baking soda, 1 cup citric acid, 1/2 cup cornstarch, 1 tablespoon water, 1 tablespoon sunflower oil, and 1 tablespoon scent. That's it. And for this particular one, I am doing nothing else. Nothing else with it. Now, as you, I think I actually allowed that in. If not, I will at some point. Just in case you're new here and have not watched one of my bath bomb videos before, my biggest and best pro tip for all bath bombs is put the citric acid in absolutely last. After you have your colors dialed in, after you have your fragrance in, your water, your oil, whatever. Mix that up really well into your batch and then put your citric acid in. And for this, I'm just doing a standard little swirl. It's cute. I love this. Now, for the second bath bomb that we are making, it is going to be green and pink, well, red. We are going to be adding to the standard batch 2 tablespoons of polysorbate 80. Now, I get tons of questions about polysorbate and what it is and all of the jazz. All of the time. Is it better to use polysorbate 80 or polysorbate 20? The answer to that, we can do it really easily right now. The answer is really no. Chemically, the structure of poly 80 versus poly 20 is almost identical. The only difference is poly 80 has more oleic chains, I believe, and while poly 20 has lauric. I will double check, and if I'm wrong, I will say so in the description for sure. So poly 80, all of the things that we are testing today are surfactants. And what is a surfactant? Well, it's something that, helps out with all of the bubbling and all of the things. And that was interesting. Got some bubbling going on in there. So that's fun. And in this case, and when you're using it in bath bomb form, as well as probably any other cosmetic form, you are using it for its emulsion properties. So it is a nice emulsifier, which will essentially, for our purposes here, disperse those beautiful micas that we have going on, disperse the oil so we don't have any weird pockets of oil kind of hanging out in the water. And also, they all are known to create bubbles. So this is really why we're doing this. We want to see what the best bubbler is. Now, poly 80, I don't know. As far as natural or not, really all of these things, as far as all of these go, you figure it out on your own. I do not consider poly 80 natural. However, our soap manufacturers do. And they, market it as such. So it is a surfactant. It is not one that really absorbs very well. It's also found in like toothpaste and chocolate and all of the things. And next up is going to be the yellow and blue for the spring apricot. And we will be putting in 1/2 cup of SLSA. Now, SLSA we have talked about before. What is SLSA? It is sodium lauryl sulfoacetate, not to be confused with SLS, which is confusing. SLSA, again, we've talked about it. Is it natural? Is it not? I don't know. It depends on your definition of natural. It is derived from coconut and palm, and it is marketed as natural. But, make your own choices. The reason why SLS is not really liked anymore, cancer studies, one, it's toxic to aquatic life, so we really shouldn't be putting that down our drains. Two, and it actually is a smaller molecular structure, so it is more of a skin irritant than SLSA. SLSA is a nice bubbler, surfactant to put into your products. And so the expectation is you're going to get a more foamy, bomb with something like an SLSA. One of the problems with putting in SLSA is one, while it has a heavier, a larger molecular structure and a heavier weight than SLS, it's still a very lightweight powder. And so once you start, messing with that, it gets real weird, and it flies through the air, gets in your lungs. It's not a lot of fun. But two, adding that extra bit of very dry powder can make your bath bomb molding a little bit more complicated, in which case I would suggest putting in a little bit more oil. But, there's SLSA for you, and let's move on to the final. And I think I've given myself enough time to talk more about all of these products, later. Also, Soap and Clay Kidlet number 2 wanting to say hi, and we are going to be using SCI for the final with 1/2 cup into the bath bomb batches. Now, SCI, sodium cocoyl isothalanate, is also known as baby foam. It's another very gentle surfactant and a great emulsifier. And again, natural or not, it is derived from coconut. And yeah, sure. Again, it all depends on your definition of natural. So the baby foam is a really good, additive to put into your cosmetics, your bath bombs, your bubble bars, what have you, because it really does that. Well, it creates bubbles. One of the problems that we're going to run into with SCI, I think, is same thing. It's a very lightweight ingredient, gets all up in the air. So definitely you should be wearing your masks with SLSA or SCI and, protect those lungs. But also that extra addition of the very, very dry powders makes the bath bombs a little bit more difficult to mold. Also, a problem that I foresee within this is it's going to not react, or it's going to essentially hinder the reaction of the citric acid to the baking soda in this formulation, and we're not going to get a bunch of fizz. But probably what we're going to get is a very long-lasting foamy bath bomb. Okay, let's go test these guys. Okay, and here we are with the finished products and on to the tests. And just apologies in advance for the lighting and everything that will go on in my tub. You guys seem to love bathroom shots. It's interesting, but to test these, I actually tested them across 4 days and 4 baths because I wasn't going to waste a perfectly good bath after, you know, putting a bath bomb in. So it took a while, and therefore it's all a little bit different. So first up, no extra bubblers in it. None whatsoever. And I got a little thing out to try to keep it in place while it fizzed, and you know, it was fine. It didn't really work. But yeah, so good, nice, powerful fizz. These particular bath bombs, when you have, you know, nothing in it, like an extra bubbler or whatever, it's going to be just this. Very explosive. Very fun. I would say the actual fizz time in totality is around 4.5 minutes for that bath bomb to fully fizz out. The cornstarch actually helps extend the fizz, so that's nice. But also what you can see in all of this is without the addition of an emulsifier at all, poly 80 is the, you know, most common one, we're not really getting any color change in the water, and we're also just getting these very interesting kind of pockets of the mica and, you know, the oil hanging out. So there's a trade-off. And yeah, afterwards, that stuff sticks to the side of your tub. It is horrible. I really recommend putting an emulsifier into your bath bombs because then you have to clean that out, and that is not fun. Now, the second one, again, the 2 tablespoons of poly 80 into this guy. And let's see what this one does. I put less water in the tub so it would just stay put this time. I was learning. But look at that. That's a nice foam going on there. We have a very lovely foam, and the colors are dispersing very nicely. You're not getting those chunks of micas that are coming out with this one, so that's great. That's a very beautiful, beautiful bloom, and the poly 80 does actually help extend the fizz of the bath bomb for about a minute. So I would say the total bath bomb fizz on this is about 5.5 minutes, and it's just a lovely experience there. I mean, isn't that just all of your bath bomb, you know, happy face, soothing needs, really? It's gorgeous. Very, very pretty. Now, if you wanted to really change the colors of the bath bomb, of the water, like really impactfully, you would be using dyes or lakes in this process. And again, we will talk about that in an FAQ later on. I do not use dyes and lakes. You know, we'll talk about why later. But my bath bombs never, usually don't end up actually really coloring the water a really dark, you know, specific color. And my customers have no problems with that. That said, yours might. But, you know, the foam that comes from poly 80, not only is it a great emulsifier and, you know, really easy and inexpensive to put into your products, it has such beautiful foam. I mean, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all those swirls of the foamy awesomeness. It's delightful, for sure. And because it is a surfactant, it's also, it has a nice feel on the skin. It softens the water, which is another benefit, I suppose, of all of these surfactants, the SLSA, the SCI, and the poly 80. So again, I did say poly 80. I think it's completely synthetic, but it's marketed not. So, you know, go by your definition. Whatever. All right, and the third is the SLSA. Half a cup of that, and immediately it broke. Now, that's what I was telling you with the problems with putting in such a lightweight powder, extra dry ingredients. I really should have upped the oil in this. I didn't, because we have, you know, the actual recipe is the standard, right? And we don't want to change too much about the standard. We want to keep all of our controls good. And so, yeah, I ended up with a bath bomb that as soon as I popped it in, it broke into 2 pieces, which made it hard to film. And also, that foam, legit. So cool, but not a lot of like fizzy action, right? This is also because it's sort of interrupting the process, the chemical reaction between the baking soda and the citric acid. And so, that's no bueno. It's very foamy though. Isn't that cool? It's it's fun. SLSA is actually used in pretty copious amounts in bubble bar, solid bubble bath recipes, and significantly less citric acid and baking soda. So this is almost becoming bubble bar-esque with it. And I don't really know if that's the best idea for bath bombs that are supposed to, fizz. But whatever. That particular last one, the SLSA, it foamed out for about 7 minutes before I got tired of watching it. This one is the SCI, again, half a cup into the total batch, into each of the containers. And look at that. What a slow fizz. It is such a slow fizz. Holy crap. I left the bathroom and came back and like nothing had changed. I got tired of watching this, and like 10 minutes later, it was still foaming or fizzing. Very, very slow release with all of this. It's not the violent, in your face release. This one did stick though. I, had kind of a lot of problems with the SLSA ones, and so I packed them differently for the SCIs. But this thing just kept going well over 10 minutes before I just got tired and, just walked away. It was ridiculous. But, if you like that, then that's cool. It definitely extends the fizz by a lot, but it's such a small fizz. And also, you're not seeing a lot of foam coming from that, are you? Not a lot of foam. This is, again, several minutes in, and this thing is still basically all intact. Very, very slow fizz. So, if you want to extend the fizzy time of your bath bombs, there's an idea. Put in some SCI. That's totally workable. If you're wanting to do it for a foaming measure, as you can see, there's a lot of foam building up on the bath bomb itself, but unlike with the SLSA, it's really not kind of distributing throughout nearly as cool. So I don't know. If I had it my way, I think SLSA or the Poly 80 would be the ones that I would pick. Or maybe, there's always a combination of both, but then recipes just start getting complicated. So, so for all the people who've been asking about all the different bubblers and can we add bubbles to our bath bombs? Yeah, you totally can. I think the easiest way to get good payoff with bubbles is doing Poly 80, but you could do SLSA or SCI as well and produce some reasonably similar results. But, there you go. A whole bunch of bubble tests. Yeah. And there they are, the new summer lavender bath bombs to go with the lavender summer soaps that we've been doing for the past few weeks. And yeah, they're all cool. As far as the rest of it, what you can and what you can't add to bath bombs, as you can see, it's a lot like soap. You can add a whole bunch, but you always do have to figure out the cost benefit of doing something like that. Not just the cost literal, like your price point, but also the skin and the usability and those sorts of things, as well as possibly what it can do to your bath bomb batch if you start adding extra powders and how you can sort of combat that. So there's some cool things. Hopefully you guys got some fun explanations to some of these things that you've been wondering about and, had some fun. If you're interested in seeing what other fun we have, the drill, like, subscribe, share, all of the YouTubey thingies. For those of you who do like, subscribe, share, and do all the YouTubey thingies, hey, thanks. You guys are amazing. I appreciate my sudzers each and every day. Obviously, today is no exception, and I don't think it ever will be. But for today, I am out of here, but I will see all of you guys again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.